Hey, what's going on? My name is Amy. Welcome to the channel. I am a newbie day trader in month 5, and I've been working on trading small position sizes in order to learn how to scale up properly. When I first started trading, I was almost into full position sizes right off the bat, had some successes, then had some losses, then realized, hey, let's start with a foundation. So I've been doing what Mark Douglas recommends of 20 trades in a series. And there was a intermittent time where I wasn't doing it, but this is about the third series I'm doing now of 20 trades in a row. So I did 20 trades with 1 share apiece, 20 trades with 2 shares apiece, and currently just started a 20 trade series on Tuesday, and I'm doing 6 shares apiece. I'm buying basically each trade I'm buying 2 sets. So I'm buying three, then three, and I'm using different stop losses for those 2 buy-ins. So this is a recap of Wednesday's trades. I traded at 2 different times. One was the morning session around 7:40 a.m. Pacific, so like 10:40 a.m. Eastern. And then the second session I have been liking a lot. This I stumbled upon by accident, was basically the lunch hour session for the East Coast, where I came into the market around like 9:30 my time on the second half. So first trade, let's get into the charts here. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I took a trade on TQQQ, which you see on the right-hand side. By the way, I'm looking at Robinhood's charts just because I like them. This is what I use to analyze over here on my vertical monitor while I'm trading on Thinkorswim. And I've got QQQ on the left and then TQQQ on the right, which is an ETF that goes long with the Qs. So instead of having to pay $465 a share, I'm paying like $51 a share. And then this was from Wednesday. So I'm going back to the time frame of my first trade. I think I got in about 7:40 a.m. my time. So let's see, where was the Qs going up? Kind of like this, actually, this has been a little bit before that. This stair-stepping action was kind of what I was watching in the charts. We're staying above the 9 EMA, which I have found extremely useful, by the way. VWAP, it seems like most of the stuff I'm looking at these days is nowhere near the VWAP. So that's been almost a useless tool. The 9 EMA, as well as the support resistance lines that Robinhood offers, has been really helpful, but especially the 9 EMA, which you can see the blue line here. And on this side, it's green. And basically, I'm entering the trade. Let's see, my price was, so I bought in 3 shares a piece twice, and I was in at 50.53 and 50.57. So on this chart, I was getting in kind of at the top here. And I had missed the bottom of this move, but it was climbing. I was staying above the EMA, and I said, "Let's jump in." So I got in, immediately was in the green, and then right around the 50-70 mark here, and on the Qs over here, you're talking about 463. That it started hitting resistance, and I could see, the profit starting to come back down, and I should have basically. What I ended up doing was I canceled my take profit orders. I'm doing 1-to-1. So if I'm looking to get a 15-cent scalp, then I'm looking for a 15-cent take profit. And then the second set of shares I bought in for 25 cent. So what I wished I had done differently in this scenario, instead of canceling my take profit orders as I saw it turning against me, because I was kind of getting ready to sell at the market. And if I hadn't canceled those orders, I think I would have gotten the 15-cent scalp take profit, and then would have just had to worry about the 25-cent one, which never hit its profit and didn't actually get close enough to, really go for it. So as it was turning around here at the top, on both charts, I was like, okay, time to bail, kind of my 3 strikes rule, candles plummeting, turning the other way, looking at my stochastic, as you can see, it was crossing right there at the top, coming downward, and then watching price action, and realizing, okay, if this is hitting a certain level in the 463, I was kind of looking at, okay, if it's going to drop down into the 462s, it's time to get out. So those are my indicators of like, hey, it's turning around. So that's exactly what it did. I sold at the market. I made a profit of 80 cents. So I still made something, but I think I would have squeezed a few more cents out of it if I had left that first take profit order. And then what ended up happening, oh, and I said on my notes here, my journal turned around at 463.15. Yeah, basically right up here was when I could tell things were shifting. And then I was like, okay, well, let's, the market's turning around. Let's see if we could jump in on the other side of the trade. So I switched over to SQQQ, which is shorting the market or the Qs. And so again, same time frame here. Now we're looking at 743. So like right in here, right? It's just starting to turn around. You can see it on the Qs chart. I get in and I'm at 33.78. So I see this big, candle going in the opposite direction for the Qs, but green on the shorting side. And when I get in, it's very short-lived. As you can see, we've got the what do you call it? Shooting star. And basically, yeah, and then it turns around against me immediately. And so I was in this trade for 1 minute and I market sold it because I could see that based on the chart and the candles. And if you look at 743 over here, yeah, you could see again, it's going now. It was crossing down, then it's like, oh no, just kidding. And it started, stochastic started putting up. So I'm like, okay, time to bail. So yeah, lost the 61 cents. So between the two trades, I'm up like, what, 18 cents or whatever. And then I decided, I'm looking at the volume too, and I'm looking at the size of the candles, and I'm like, you know what? You can tell the volume's just drying up. Like look at these volume bars at that time. They're not large, right? And then I was just kind of like, well, let's come back to the charts around like 9:30 my time, which is like 12:30 on the East Coast. And let's see if there's better setups. Is there more volume? Is there more momentum? I mean, you can see like here was the move. I missed some of that, jumped in late. And by the time I started, trading around that time, stuff just wasn't moving. So let's forward over to, I got in there around 9:29 was my first trade. So fast forwarding a little bit, you can start to see already here's like way bigger volume candles, right? Bigger candles, excuse me, and bigger volume bars. And I'm getting into a trade at 9:29. So like right here. And actually, let me just switch this over to, is it TQQ? Oh, my apologies. I actually was in Tesla. Well, the Tesla trade I took, I'm not even going to go into that. I was trying to go long on Tesla and it was basically break even. Yeah, it turned against me and I'm like, nope, we're out. So lost like literally a penny. So I didn't even count that one. Let's just go over to the next trade. This one, 9:56. Okay, so and I'm going long. So right in here, I think. It was like a pullback. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, so actually, I get in for this nice clean move. 1, 2, 3 green candles. This is a 1 minute chart, by the way. And then on the TQQQ, again, going long on the Qs, we're coming in at that same kind of, level there at price point of 48.79. So that would have been, I was kind of entering on that first candle right here. You can see it on the right-hand side where the prices are. You can see 48.79 is exactly where I get in. So literally I'm watching the charts and the reason I even got into this trade, it looks like I was lucky that I got in on that first big green candle. That's not what happened. Basically I looked at the Q's chart and I was on to 1 minute, but I had zoomed out and I felt very proud of myself because let's see, go too far up. Because I saw a pattern. And this, as a newbie trader, I was like so proud of myself because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is something like, I've been learning about, and I finally see it and recognize it on my own. And basically it was inverse head and shoulders. So I'm seeing like, it was like a V pattern kind of thing. Some people call it a V pattern. So inverse head and shoulders basically. And I'm like, okay, so if it breaks the shoulder line and goes, just above that, the chances to the upside are very high. So that's what I saw that convinced me probabilities wise that this trade would be worth taking and would be in my favor most likely, just based on this pattern that I had seen. This was just an intraday pattern, right? I was just looking at like earlier in the day, 840 swimming like 1140. East Coast, so like maybe in the last hour and some, it had formed this inverse head and shoulders. So when I get in over here, let's see, what did I say? 9:56. So literally like it's right after it had started to make this move. And there's a doji right there, right? And I think that was kind of as I'm looking at a chart, I'm like, okay, as soon as we go above the EMA, that's the signal, right? That's close above the signal, excuse me, close above the line. That for me was like my entry, like go. Saw this pattern, chances are it's going up. So I kind of was like making my decision right there at that doji and, entering right in here, by the time my order gets through. So it's jumping from 48.67. I'm getting in at 48.79. So it happened very quickly when it did pop over the EMA. And, I wrote it up for take profits on both sets of shares. So I bought in at 48.79 and again at 48.81, which were both in that same first candle. And I didn't even look at the prices really. I just was executing without thinking because I actually had alerts on my phone using Yahoo Finance app where I said, okay, if the Qs hit above, I had these levels over here, hit above this shoulders, I had something like, I don't know at the time, 456.50, 456.60, and I had alerts on my phone to go ding, ding, every time it was hitting. And once I heard the second alert, I put in the first order. I heard the third alert go. I'm already executing the second order because it told me the price action was happening very quickly. So this was like a slightly different trade for me. Like I wasn't just watching the in the now chart. I was looking at a pattern that had formed, and I'm like finally feeling like, oh my gosh, I understood something like technical analysis. I looked to the left. I saw this thing and I just went in, again, I could have been totally wrong, could have, done nothing or just rejected the EMA, but in this scenario I was right. And so it went up and my take profits were at 15 cent, 25 cent. So I'm exiting at 48.97. Let's see, like literally is a 2-minute trade. I'm exiting like right in here, right in the end of the top candle. 48.97 and 49.04. And you can see the top of this candle was 49.06. So thank goodness my 25-cent take profit one got me out just before that, because you can see then all of a sudden we've got, our plummeting candle here and then it starts to sell off. And so I literally got the top of that sequence, as best as I could. And I remember thinking too, as I'm watching the Qs, I was like, okay, there was I'm trying to remember, it doesn't show it on the chart right now, but there was like a line of resistance here. And I said, okay, if we are getting to that resistance line, which I assume we will, I'm probably going to bail based on, whether it goes up or not, or if it doesn't go up. And so I was kind of like planning that exit if I needed to manually anyways. But thankfully my take profit just happened to be right there, at the top of this candle. And then it was perfect timing to exit for that. Otherwise, yeah, I probably would have been stopped out at that point. Or I guess I would have been kind of back down to break even, really. Let's see, where did this thing go? Actually, I think this tail actually went way down here for a minute. You can see the huge volume there, the red candle. There's the red volume bar, excuse me. And then, yeah, and then it kind of made its way back up. But if I'm not mistaken, that it did drop quite a bit if you're looking at the bottom here. Yeah, kind of sold off there for a moment and then was like, oh, now we keep going. So I was just glad to get out of that trade in time. And that one ended up $1.20 profit. So the total P&L for Wednesday ended up with $1.37. And again, I'm just trading like 6 shares a piece, so this isn't anything crazy. But yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so I had a note on why I was going to manually bail if I had to. It was about to hit 457, I think, on the Qs. Yeah. And I kind of was like, I think that's the resistance level. I said 457, 9 EMA, new to bail before, but the take profit hit. So I was kind of looking for, where that resistance line was, and then, still actually rolled it all the way to the top. So anyways, that's the breakdown. Feeling pretty good. This put me at, I'm into 7 trades of my 20 right now. And feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. About where things are going. And that was two sessions in a row profit, I think. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy these behind the scenes things, because it kind of helps me to go back and like review the charts and see again, what was I seeing then. And I'm gonna start actively screenshotting like my trades and just keeping that in a digital trading journal, as well as I've got my manual when I like to handwrite stuff. So, but yeah, guys, feel free to check out my day trading resources down below. Everything I'm learning and helping me on this journey is basically in that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.